Good morning, St. Jerome's Academy, to the teachers, students, parents, and to your school head, good morning. And of course, to my very good friend, Miss Danica Bombales-Ramos, thank you for inviting me to give you a talk on reading for literacy and multilingualism, literature as gateway to the world of wonders. I'm Hazel Angeline Itisoro, teacher at Baras Senior High School and a PhD Applied Linguistics student at the Philippine Normal University. So without further ado, let me head you over to my talk on reading. So first up, we'll be speaking about reading for literacy. So how does reading help you become literate? Okay, first up, it begins at home. Okay, so we should not forget that children are made readers on the laps of their parents. So yan yung quote. It is not only parents that have this responsibility of making readers or creating readers out of their children or out of these kids, but the same responsibility goes for teachers, for daycare workers as well, because these are the people who serve as the second parents of students right after they leave home for school. We also have grandparents or guardians as well, and we also have our aunties and uncles who stay with us at home, and we cannot really deny that fact that some of our extended family members stay with us or live with us at home. So moving on to that responsibility of creating readers, now we move on to that idea that the more you read, the more things you will know. Yeah, that's true. And the more that you learn, the more places that you'll go. Wait, paano ako makakapunta in those places? Well, the more we read, the more literate we become. And the more literate that we become, the more doors open for us. And basically, these are not only doors but windows as well. That would allow us to explore the world other than our own. We can be able to travel to places we haven't been, whether that's literal or figurative. Doon muna sa literal, okay? Because we will be able to read street signs. We can be able to know where we are exactly just because we know how to read. And the figurative side naman will be able to travel to worlds we haven't to before, and I'll be explaining that later. And the more literate we become, the more opportunities come our way, the more opportunities we find, whether online or in print, and the more chances that we are able to grab to improve our learning and to develop our personality as well. And of course, increase our knowledge on specific topics that interest us. According to Stephen Hawking, a famous author, nothing is better than reading and gaining more and more knowledge. So he did not just say more, but more and more. Why is that? It's because the more we read, the more knowledge we gain. And the more knowledge we gain, the more we know about the world. And the more we know about the world, the more that we aren't fooled by what we are seeing, by what we are reading, by what's being fed to us, because we're educated enough to discern which is right and which is wrong. And that counts for media and information literacy as well. You cannot be media and information literate if you do not know how to read. Okay? Because there is always an idea beyond what's being presented to us, and that's what we have to know. And we will only be able to know that if we are educated enough, if we are equipped with the information that we need for us to be able to judge which is correct and which is not, which is right and which is wrong, which is moral and immoral, and so on. Moving on to my favorite quote from one of my favorite characters in Game of Thrones. Ayan, so his name is Tyrion Lannister. And he said that my mind is my weapon. A mind needs books as a sword needs a whetstone, if it is to keep its edge. So empower your minds and to make it sharp you have to read because reading is like exercise to the brain. It's like the physical workout that you're doing to your body. So that's what reading does to your brain. Moving on, going back again to that idea that I shared earlier, that it is the responsibility of parents and of course our elders and our guardians to make a reader out of us, out of kids. Okay? There is no such thing as a child who hates to read. There are only children who have not found the right books. So, to teachers, to daycare workers, and to parents as well, to our elders, how do you choose the right reading material for your kids? So, guess what? I found helpful tips that may come in handy for us. So these are advice for teachers and parents. I got this from Read Right Things blog. So the title of the article is How to Help a Teen Choose a Book. Number one is you have to ask a librarian or teacher or maybe someone who is into reading or has read a lot already. And if you do so, then you might be able to harvest recommendations from that person, and that's nice. That's already a starting point, so that you can start also a reading list of your own. Second is go to the blogs. Of course, you have to read. You have to read something for you to start reading. Okay, so that's it. You have to look for books that are trending. Maybe if you're fond of pop culture, you can also go to the blogs for recommendation on the genre that you like. Okay? Basically, going to the blogs is very helpful because you can already see recommendations together with their comments, whether that's good or bad, and those will really help you choose the perfect book for you. Third step is to peruse. You have to peruse the aisles of your library or bookstores. So now that we are in a pandemic, so you need not to physically visit a bookstore, but what you can do is you can join online book clubs. Like on Facebook, there are a lot of reading groups online that you can join, but make sure that you have the permission of your parents first or your guardian before you do so. And if you are already a member of that book club, of a certain book club, you can just post a question or ask for recommendations, and you'll be surprised how the reading community will respond to your question. They'll be receptive to any kind of question that you'll ask. And from there, you can already put up a reading list of your own. And maybe they can also teach you where to download or where to purchase these books that you want to read. Furthermore, you can find out what books your teen has enjoyed in the past. So this is advice for, I forgot that I'm talking about advice nga pala for teachers and parents. So if you're trying to help your teen, then you might want to ask that teen what books did he or she enjoy in the past. But if the teen is, say, a beginner in terms of reading, and you're just starting out teaching that teen to love reading, then you might want to start off first with the genre. Okay? Ask first which genre interests him or her. And after that, you can also delve into the kind of material that the teen wants to read or the child wants to read. After that, you can find out the length of the material that these kids or these teens want to read. Maybe the teen only wants shorter materials, those that are easy to finish. Ayan. So, if that's the result of your needs assessment, if the teen wants shorter materials to read or quick reads, you may want to check out graphic novels because peppered with images and with only a little to no dialogue talaga, so you can be able to finish it in one sitting. So yeah, but it depends on the person who's reading it. But yeah, graphic novels are commonly a quick read. So you need not to stress yourself out and pressure yourself na If I'm picking a book for a teen, it should be a classic. It should be Shakespeare. It should be someone na may sinabi in the literary world. No, okay? You need not to pressure yourself as the elder picking the book for the teen, but you can just ask the teen first what he or she wants, and from there, that's already a solid starting point. Yan. Apart from graphic novels, I would also recommend poetry books. Ayan, that's my technique para humaba yung list ko sa Goodreads. Okay? You can just pick poetry books that are less than 100 pages. Yan, so that you can finish them in one sitting, or you can finish them in a matter of days. Yan. So, moving on, you can address problems with the book. Okay? If you're the elder, picking a book for a teen or for a child, you should be able to read the book yourself. Okay? Do not ever forget that, because you have to screen content that's not appropriate for the kids or for the teens. Also, you have to check out if there are sensitive themes that are presented in the book, if there's foul language found in it. So that's why you have to go back to step number 2. Go to the blogs, because you have to check, you have to read reviews, a lot of reviews, before you recommend a certain reading material. There's no problem if you're recommending a material to someone your age. But if you're teaching a child how to read, baka pag mali yung material na i-recommend mo, they will not love reading and instead would hate it. Yon. So, ayan. These are the 6 steps that you can do to help a teen, or basically anyone younger than you, choose a book. And that's from Read, Write, Think 2020. So, ayan. We already talked about reading and how it's connected to literacy and how it can, of course, make us literate. Now, we move on to reading for multilingualism. So, how does reading help us be multilingual? Reading, ayan, gives us new and varying perspectives to things, and that is also brought about to us by being multilingual, because learning a language, ayan, a different language is a different vision of life. And did you know that if you are a multilingual, and if you've been a multilingual because of reading, then you will be open-minded on a lot of things. You will be able to understand different cultures. You can relate to other people of other races. You can be sensitive to what they're trying to communicate just because you know their language and you know how to communicate with them. Next up is you can ace social interactions. You already have an advantage if you are a reader. And if you are a reader aiming to be a multilingual. Reading is an exercise in empathy, an exercise in walking in someone else's shoes for a while. Reading teaches us to be sensitive to others' feelings, and that happens if you deal with a lot of different characters in the stories or in the novels that you read. Also, you can learn a lot of things not only from novels and from fictional stories, but you can also learn from nonfiction. And from nonfiction, from other people's experiences, you can also be able to check out on yourself, reflect on your values, and relate to the experiences being shared by the author or the people in this reading materials. So you can have this advantage in social interaction because you already have that experience of dealing with people, different people from varying situations that come from different contexts. If we already feel that sort of empathy to the people we are dealing with in the books or in the reading materials that we read, what more if we establish these relationships in real life? And that would allow us to build better connections with the people that we know and people whom we do not know yet. Moving on, reading with the aim of being a multilingual gives us opportunities for learning and growth. And that is not only for students or for people who are taking up special program for foreign languages, but those people who are really aiming to learn a new language on their own. Did you know that in Rizal, we already have 2 schools offering special program for foreign languages, and that's Francisco P. Felix Memorial National High School in Cainta, Rizal, and Rizal National Science High School in Binangonan, Rizal. So ayan, they offer Korean. I'm sure of Korean because I edited a few lessons on Korean. I'm not just so sure about Chinese or Mandarin, but yeah, I'm telling you right now that you need not to enroll in a special program for foreign language course, but you can learn a language just with the use of an app, and with that I recommend Duolingo. So going back to our quote right here, ayan, multilingualism promotes culture. A culturally diverse child is better prepared to participate and compete in a global society because being multilingual teaches us to have intercultural communication and how to efficiently have that with other people, other races, of other genders, of other religions, of other social and economic status and educational background, because culture does not only refer to race, okay, it also refers to what separates us into different groups. Okay, going back, we have reading with the aim of being multilingual gives us opportunities for learning and growth. Imagine that if you will learn a third language, that would give you edge among other people. I myself, I am not a multilingual, but I am looking forward to be one soon, because before I graduate from my PhD course, I will be taking a foreign language course. And you can just imagine the vast array of opportunities that you can seize and you can grab just because you know a third language. For example, Korean. If you know Korean, you can be able to talk or to speak with your favorite Korean idols, diba? That's one thing. If you're a multilingual, you can I'm very sure that you already know how to speak in English and in Filipino, but I'm telling you that knowing a third language is a plus. And you're very lucky, the youth of today, because there are a lot of resources that can help you do that by just reading. Did you know that teacher Danica and I have a classmate back in college that learned Korean with just reading this dictionary, this printed dictionary she bought from somewhere. So, diba? That inspires us not to give up on learning, because we really want to achieve something, diba? And achieving something really is something if you worked hard for it, right? So, moving on, reading gives us some place to go when we have to stay where we are. I could really relate to this, and we can travel for free because we can reach places we haven't to before, where in fact we are just sitting where we are reading the book that's in our hands. We can reach other places without even lifting a finger, diba? Just reading, using our eyes to read. If you're traveling and if you're not able to use your eyes and hands for reading, then you might use audiobooks. That equals reading as well, and that adds a sensory experience because you're hearing the words being said to you. So, reading does not limit us and does not only allow us to sit in one place, but it opens a lot of doors for us and gives us the power to imagine, right? And it doesn't matter in which kind of material you will be reading. You need not to choose the grandest of gadgets just for you to start reading. You need not to purchase the most expensive of books. You need not to put up an area where you have to read, but you can actually start anywhere. You can start from anywhere. You can start from any reading material for as long as interests you. That's how reading can work magic for you. Now let's talk about how literature, this wide array of resources, these existing books and collections of reading materials can serve as gateway to the world of wonders. So first up, we have this quote: "A library is full of new worlds to travel." And yeah, with that free pass to the worlds that we are to discover, all you need is a book. All you need is a reading material. You need not a library to do that, but all you need to have is that heart that wants to start the love for reading. So what reading has in store for you? Number one, it can bring you to places you haven't been yet, of course, and it can introduce you to characters you haven't met yet. So these characters are not limited to people, but it can be animals and inanimate objects as well, for as long as they are given the power by their author to speak, to feel, to touch, and whatnot. Okay? Given senses by the author and given qualities or skills that can only be available to a person. So we also have eras and periods we do not know of yet. Well, if you're fond of period literature, like those that are set in the previous centuries, like for example 15th century, 16th century. If you're fond of futuristic reading materials, like those that are set in the future, then there's no problem with that. Reading has a lot in store for you because there are a plethora of reading materials that are available in print format and in digital format. So now, if you are reading this, I am telling you, it is not too late to start reading. It is not too late to nurture that love of reading in your heart. Alam ko, lahat kayo meron yan. There's just a lot of reasons that we give ourselves why we don't start reading yet. Maybe I'm too busy. Maybe I'm too engrossed on my studies. Maybe I'm focusing on my ACADS muna. Maybe I'm focusing on my gaming. Maybe. So, maybe it's time for us to shelf those excuses and actually do something and start reading. So, I would recommend you to know yourself first, know what you need. Yan. Let's go back to the needs assessment, back to what you love, what you enjoy, and with that, you can be able to identify what kind of reading material would you want to start off with. And with that, thank you so much again, St. Jerome's Academy, for this opportunity to speak before you. I am so sorry I'm not able to join you live today on the conference call because I have an interview today for my nomination for SDO Rizal's Gawad Gampilan. Search for Gawad Gampilan 2020. I'm actually vying for the category Outstanding Module Evaluator. So please pray for me and that I ace my interview today. So with that, thank you so much again to all the students, teachers, to the parents, if there are parents watching today, to your school head, and of course to my friend Danica Bombales-Ramos. Thank you so much for this chance to be part of your National Reading Month celebration. And with that, thank you and happy National Reading Month, everyone.